in the golf world around the state of South Carolina. George can handle that. We're talking recruiting. We'll do the recruiting report coming up in a couple of minutes. We'll talk some football with you, talk a little Major League Baseball, NBA playoffs if you like. Whatever. Wide open in this hour. 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Russell Henley at 4. Molinari and Bayo at 3. Kepka at 2. Xander Schauffele. Molinari is in at 1 under. Patrick Rogers 1 under. Matthew Wolff a 1 under 70. Checking some of the others now who are on the course. Rory McIlroy is through 3 at 1 under. Garcia is even through 4. Bubba Watson's even through 4. Zalatoris even through 3. Johnson is even through 3. John Rahm even through 2. Patrick Reed is even through 2 holes. DeChambeau +1. Had a terrible shot on just a little while ago. Put himself in a lot of trouble. Ended up bogeying number 3 and number 4 after birdieing at number 2. So he's scrambling a little bit. George, do you think? I mean, how much lower will the score go? Do you think over the length of the tournament? The bar right now is set at 4 under. This afternoon round, I don't expect anybody, unless somebody goes crazy. It might be one guy who might go a little crazy, but otherwise, do you expect that number to move much over the next 3 or 4 days?
I don't, and that's something that Matt didn't necessarily bring up. But the weather out there, chances of them getting weather out of a lot of rain, not good at this point. I don't think this is a rain season for them. In fact, when the weather is under the control of the superintendent, I'll put it this way, the conditions are under the control of the greens and superintendent crew, they can just about make the score whatever they want it to be. And I'm guessing it'll go from here to higher. So I'm just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the USGA, my hope would be that they would let them go ahead and get up into the 10, 12, let them play golf, but they could stop that. That golf course is incredibly hard. And if they put the flags, they don't water, if they press on the greens, they will take the score could end up at even par, 1 or 2 over.
Yeah. Which is you like that for an Open. You want to see that kind of number for an Open. You don't want to see an Open winning score in that double digit under par.
Hey, what I like to see is the greatest players in the world have fun, hit great shots, and have fun playing golf. Now,
don't you want to see some tension? Don't you want to see some pressure of having to really fight a golf course?
Hey, this is what I like to see. It's my opinion. I like to see them having fun.
Right.
And you start watching the expressions on Sunday afternoon, and it's hard to see them having a lot of fun. But that's my opinion.
I get it.
And I think the USGA, it's a great tournament. It creates a lot of interest, but my preference is fun golf, having fun hitting. I like to see great players hit great shots and get a decent result. They don't have to always get great results, but the USGA tends to be punitive in their approach and just punish players. And so I've had the chance of seeing a lot of USGA events. And, they're not the only ones. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I will not change. I think the game is designed to be fun.
Yeah.
So let's have some fun.
Well, I get that. I don't disagree. We want those guys out there making millions of dollars to enjoy their lives, okay? But I want them to feel some pain out there too.
Amen.
Well,
I mean, I want to see them. Yeah, I mean, come on, right, Chris? You and I, we struggle along out there. You don't, George. You hit it down the middle every time, and your second shot is usually on the green, and you're usually putting for birdie.
Hey, what's cool?
Get that. And that's fun. That's fun. But I want to see these guys hack it around a little bit and bite the bullet.
That's the other side of it, too, that probably is better for golf than the posture that I'm bringing up or the perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I love 2-on-1, and I'd love to continue the conversation because – in my opinion, the game will not grow.
Do you feel like are we double teaming you?
I love it. Like I say, I love it. I used to love to take George and Wesley and play their best ball. So, men, let's get going. Let's tee it up.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
you won't
George
do that now. You won't do that now.
Oh, absolutely.
Not
You know, and
now.
I think
I'll
George
do it,
brings
but
up-
I'll pay off. I'll lose a lot of money.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. Exactly. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, I think George brings up an interesting point about sometimes the USGA gets way too punitive. And I don't want to see, let me make sure you understand where I'm coming from here. I don't want to see them turn it into a loop-de-loop type golf course. I want the golf course to be difficult, but on its own. I don't want them to have a 600-yard par three, those type things. But remember back in 2008 when Tiger won at Torrey Pines, the winning score is -1. A couple of years later, though, is when Rory McIlroy, I think, embarrassed the USGA and won, lapped the field and was 16 under par. And then the USGA said, all right, that's enough, because the next two wins were both over par. So I think there's some wiggle room in there. But, George, I don't want to see them going to 16 under par, but I'm not sure I want them 5 over par. I'd like them around even 1-2 under par, because I think that shows the true test of golf. And the U.S. Open, in my opinion, should be the most difficult of the 4 majors to win. They want to have fun, go to Augusta. They want to, they want to get a good test. This is it. This is the tournament for the good test.
I ate lunch with one of the people you just mentioned. I'm not going to bring it back up, but I ate lunch the Monday after the U.S. Open when it was last played at Shinnecock, and I'm not going to reveal who it is, but it was also Ryder Cup, a table full of Ryder Cup players. And I listened to the conversation the Monday after the U.S. Open, and it was incredibly entertaining to hear these guys talk about how much unfun was had. So you've already mentioned one of the players that was at the lunch table, and I could not – the USGA embarrassed at Shinnecock. They did the best they could to embarrass the greatest players in the world, in my opinion. At least, I think probably what happened is the golf course got away from them. When they're trying to press the edge of making it difficult, it gets into the Mickey Mouse golf, the putt-putt golf, where the ball won't stop. And that's kind of what happened apparently at Shinnecock.
Well, didn't they have that one time too at Pinehurst? Because the Pinehurst greens are so, what's the word? They got those whales built underneath them. They're so elevated, right?
The bowls, and it rolls off.
Yeah, exactly. You hit a nice shot onto the green at number 2, Pinehurst number 2, right? If you're not exactly precise, it's going to roll back down, and that front, right? It's a false front. It's going to come back down to you. I don't like that personally.
Well, what happened at Shinnecock in other times, the ball rolls up to the cup near it, and then it rolls back down off the green or somewhere along the way, so the ball won't stop near the cup. And the little so it's a fine line, and I think they go to extremes to find how difficult they can make the course, and their answer is legit. And hey, Chris, it's fine for you to and Phil, for you all to enjoy watching the players hack and chop and get upset. That's part of the game.
I want them to feel my pain.
Hey, there you go. Hey,
George.
That's legit. But from an entertainment, from a playing standpoint, I prefer.
That's okay. I don't. You know what? I don't mind 27 under par at the Farmers Open or the John Deere Classic, something like that. But I like even +1, +2, and really struggling on that back 9 on Sunday to win a U.S. Open. Oh yeah, I like that.
Good.
I like
good. Hey, I used to love watching the football players play football when it was ice and 2 degrees below zero.
And you had a fullback.
Oh, yeah.
And you ran the ball 3 times for 7 yards and you punted.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like that. I'm with you.
We're entitled. We're entitled to our opinion.
All right. 888-898-2525. Let's go to Keith in Camden. Next up here on Sports Talk. Keith, thank you for waiting, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Phil. How you doing? And
you're good,
Chris,
good.
Hello to you also.
Thank you, Keith. Doing well.
Just a general comment, and not being negative, Nilly. Looking at the state of the university, the last 8 years with football, the Miss Moore incident, the hiring of a president that's here short term. What do you think? What are we missing? How are we just missing on everything that we do? What do you think the key to getting us out of the rut back to where there's hope for those old timers. We live long enough to see something positive, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think first of all, University of South Carolina athletics department has struggled all these many years for a reason, and that is because, in my opinion, and struggled in several ways. I mean, look, they've had their moments of greatness. In some ways, in some areas, right now they have a great women's basketball team. How did it get that way? It got that way because it wasn't very good. And then Dawn Staley came along and they made a great investment in her, and people left her alone. And she put together a great program. Bobby Richardson, June Raines, when nobody was paying attention to baseball, they quietly left alone, put together a great baseball program that Ray Tanner eventually took over and took it to great heights. And people left Ray Tanner alone when he was the baseball coach because people didn't care. I mean, I'm not going to say they didn't care, but I mean, it was baseball. And they left it alone. You didn't have outsiders with their hands and their opinions all involved with it. And they quietly put together a great baseball program, and they won 2 national championships. So what I'm getting at here with football, I know that's what you're talking about, because football is the image of all programs in the Southeast. If you're not great in football, then it's like it pulls your whole program down. But just look at the most recent developments, and basketball too, men's basketball. But just look at the most recent developments, and I think you can sum it up with what you saw in the case of Frank Martin recently in the Board of Trustees, or in the case of the emails that we read in the state newspaper story when Ray Tanner was starting the search to replace Will Muschamp. You hire an athletics director, you're a Board of Trustees, you hire an athletics director, and you leave him alone and you let him do his job, and you remove yourself from the scene. You being the chairman of the board, the 89-year-old doctor, member of the board who has been there for so long, and your money influence has to stop somewhere. Just because you give a ton of money doesn't mean you make wise decisions when it comes to the athletics department. That's why you hire an athletics director, then you let the athletics director hire his coaches, and you let him run his program. If he does a bad job, you fire him and you hire somebody else, and you leave him alone and you let him run his program. So I think in South Carolina's case, for whatever reason, maybe because it's across the street from the state capitol, maybe it's because people believe when they get on the Board of Trustees, they all of a sudden become, they go from being brain surgeons to being offensive coordinators. They know more about sports as they do about medicine. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what goes on in that boardroom over there, to be honest with you. But I just know as an outside observer for all these years, the too many hands in the cookie jar cause a real problem. Things I hear about Clemson, people say, they're up in the upper corner of the state. They're far away from state politics. They've got a very tight board. I mean, a small and tight board that only the board chairman speaks for them. And they've got a great they've had a great run of president, athletic director, head coaches, all in unison, working together, pulling in the same direction. You don't often get that at South Carolina, and I can't explain why.
The altitude's higher up there.
The air is thinner.
Yeah, and there's more methane. Where you, Phil, or what'd you say? Somewhere out in California, you
drove through the methane cloud.
Yeah. So, Phil, your expression, and I'm noticing. I just had to. I'm admiring.
Yeah.
You've got passion. You're taking his question really serious. I appreciate that.
I understand. I mean, listen, I grew up in this state. I've been doing this show almost 40 years. I've heard exactly what Keith is asking about from Gamecock fans ad nauseum. And I've often wondered, I mean, why is South Carolina athletics where it is today after, this university? The one thing that gets under my skin, and I'll, it's my personal opinion, is this thing with Southern California and the legal give-in that South Carolina had in its battle with Southern Cal over identification, and why the people at the University of South Carolina gave in and allowed Southern Cal to have exclusive use of USC, because they gave in and put an of in their name. You know, officially over there with the administrative types, it's the U of SC, not USC. Of. I mean, who puts a preposition in their name? I mean, seriously, who puts a preposition unless you're Ohio State, the Ohio State University? Okay, I get that. They're talking from a position of strength. But the University of South Carolina was 90 years old before Southern Cal was formed. He had a 90-year head start, Chris. And I know, look, Southern Cal's got a lot of advantages out there in Hollywood and, you know, Los Angeles and all of that. And they built a great football program. And then I know what's happened too. You've got broadcasters who were journalism majors at Southern Cal. And, of course, they're referring to Southern Cal as USC and da-da-da-da. And then you got journalism majors out of North Carolina. They refer to, you know, writers and broadcasters. They refer to Chapel Hill as Carolina. So now South Carolina's stuck. Who's calling them USC and Carolina besides us? You know, the natives, which is what it should be. But my point is, if I'm in power over there, the president or whatever, I'm demanding that we are called USC. The original USC, to give in for whatever reason they gave into, is unacceptable in my opinion. When I ride around the city of Columbia and I see the signs identifying different parts of downtown and I see U of SC this way instead of USC, you know, it just like I just shake my head in disbelief. And that's weakness, Chris. That's weakness from the top, and I guess through the legal part. I mean, somebody just gave up. I know there was 2010, I believe it was, there was the lawsuit between South Carolina and Southern Cal over the use of the logo, the SC thing. All right, I get that. But they should never have given in on the USC thing. And to me, that's just that's part of the problem. You know, that's just that's not the big problem. You know, there's bigger problems, but to me, that's just part of the problem. And one problem leads to another, and it just showed weakness and lack of direction as far as I see it.
And you are committed.
Well, I'll never give up. I'll never call it U of SC. Well, you're a graduate. You played for them. What do you call them? What do you call them?
USC.
Yeah. What does George Rogers call them?
USC.
The greatest Gamecock of all time. I mean, what should you call them, Chris?
I would go with USC and or Carolina, but that only plays, as you pointed out, inside the Palmetto State borders. And I think that's you brought up a great point about giving up. I don't know when that marketing campaign lost its edge, but yeah, they just basically gave up in Columbia trying to battle both the University of North Carolina, maybe more particularly the University of Southern California. Now, USC out west obviously has the power of the media, as you pointed out, being in Los Angeles. They've got a lot more availability to publicity, but still, that should not have been a reason that South Carolina just threw its hands up in the air and said, "Now we're done with this. Let's move on." Now, to get to Keith's point, though, I'm not sure that, as you pointed out, Phil, I don't think that's the real reason that they're struggling in the athletics department, but I think it maybe speaks to a greater problem across the board in terms of image and feeling like you compete and you can contend and you belong. And maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe USC doesn't believe that they, over these years outside of the run that Steve Spurrier had and the baseball team, and certainly right now with what Dawn Staley's doing with the women's basketball program, maybe they still don't believe they belong in the SEC. I don't know.
Well, I got a message here from a good friend, BB, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. He says it's all about branding, hashtags, Twitter, identity, and he firmly backs U of SC from a university branding standpoint. He says Carolina. And he says, nationwide, when you Google USC, it takes you Southern Cal. Well, I'm sorry. I am not giving up based on Google and Google searches and Twitter. I mean, the whole world, I know that's a big part of it, but the whole world doesn't revolve around the internet and Twitter and Google. What about the hundreds of thousands of living alums who give money, millions and millions of dollars to the foundations and support athletics and everything else? They like that you gave up on USC, or that you you changed it to U of SC because a Google search would now. I mean, come on, seriously. If you're looking for the University of South Carolina and you put in USC and it takes you to Southern Cal, aren't you smart enough maybe to, just maybe put University of South Carolina in there? Maybe you type out the whole thing and it will take you to the website.
Well, and Phil, when that branding started, it was long before the age of Twitter. Now we're talking about the U of SC here recently, but the letters USC, I can't believe you'd allow that trademark to go one place or the other. I don't know how you trademark the alphabet, but that started long before we got into social media.
I'm just going to call them the of moving forward.
Come on, Gamecocks.
The of. We'll be right back.
Point weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We're cooling down this evening with clear skies, a low of 64. For tomorrow, more sunshine, but hotter with a high getting all the way up to 94. Now for the weekend, Saturday gives us a 20% chance of a scattered shower, a high of 93. Sunday, a better chance of rain. It'll be Father's Day. We'll have a high of 83 degrees. I'm Kevin Cohen with your On Point local weather.
When I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, my buddies and I would do anything for each other. That's important whether you're in a firefight or fighting to regain your life. When I came home injured, there are people I can count on, like DAV.
DAV, Disabled American Veterans, stands behind America's veterans to make their transition back home easier with free services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
Congressional Democrats now pushing $6 trillion infrastructure package that goes far beyond roads or bridges. It could work to lower Medicare eligibility to age 60. It could even include changes to immigration law. Supreme Court ruling against the city of Philadelphia, which refused to grant contracts to Catholic special or social services because the foster care agency would not place children with homosexuals. Ruling a huge victory for religious freedom. In a 7-2 decision Thursday, High Court has dismissed a challenge to the Obama-era health care law. The justices leaving the entire law intact in ruling that Texas, other Republican-led states, and 2 individuals had no right to bring their suit. This is SRN News.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
So your home is your castle. I work hard all day. My reward is time at my home with my family, living comfortably. I don't want to worry for a moment about bugs and pests. I've had Palmetto Exterminators taking care of my home for 19 years. Now, that's a long time without worrying about pest control or infestation or termites, and that's because Palmetto Exterminators takes care of it all. Might not matter to some people, but you know what it does to me? They're family-owned. They've been doing this the right way for over 60 years. The staff is courteous. They're clean. They're totally professional. And you know, it's termite season. Palmetto Exterminators offers a free inspection. They'll customize a program to fit your needs and your family's budget. They offer a lifetime warranty with their termite agreement. Now, I speak from experience. Like I said, 19 years with the same company. I can't give a more glowing recommendation than the one I proudly give to Palmetto Exterminators. Online, palmettoexterminators.net, or call my guy, Ron Byers, 254-5833. That's 254-5833, Palmetto Exterminators.
We've all come a long way together over the last year. Now we need everybody across Columbia to get vaccinated and put COVID behind us once and for all. COVID vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Everyone in the Benjamin family has gotten their vaccinations, even our youngest. Just like our family has done, and like so many others across the Midlands, it's important to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. We're almost there. It's your shot, Columbia.
Hi, this is Michelle Arnold, your host for Travel Buzz, every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 100.7 The Point. We're here to make your travel dreams a reality. That's Travel Buzz every Monday morning at 9 on The Point.
Hi, honey. Could you drop by True Pharmacy on the way home and pick up another bottle of CBD for me?
Of course. I sure am glad that the CBD is helping you.
Yes. On my last visit to True Pharmacy, the pharmacist answered all my questions about CBD, got me started on a good dose, and I'm feeling much better.
I sure am glad we found True Pharmacy. Their staff is awesome, and they always take the time to care. True Pharmacy, located on Charleston Highway in West Columbia and Divine Street across from Bureau High School.
Weekdays from 7 to 9 on The Point. It's Kev and Brian in the morning. The news, the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to wake you up, topics to make you smile and laugh. Hope you'll join us.
The Point.
Okay, we're back with you on Sports Talk from the Players Club in downtown Columbia. Quick update on the U.S. Open round number 1. And Russell Henley remains your leader at 4 under 67. But let's look at some of those on the course. We've got Christian Gesundheit, who is 1 under through 6. No, that's Beisenhout. I just say Gesundheit to get me in the flow. Christian Beisenhout. Matsuyama is 1 under. Scheffler is 1 under. McIlroy 1 under. And the amateur Matthias Schmid is 1 under par. And checking on Dustin Johnson, let's see what DJ's got going on as he's playing this afternoon. He's even through 4. Okay, just treading a little water. DeChambeau is +1 through 6. Sergio is even through 5. And we mentioned Roy -1 through 4. Koepka's in at 2 under 69. Patrick Reed is even through 3 holes. Bubba Watson +1 through 5. John Rahm is +1. Justin Thomas in at 2 over 73. Kisner a 73. And Morikawa a 75. Mickelson a 75. Martin Keimer a 77. In just a moment, we'll give you the recruiting report tonight. Stay tuned for that. Right now, though, special guest joining us here on Sports Talk, David Wyatt from up in Greenville with the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. Joining us once again on Sports Talk. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Phil. Glad to be back. It's an honor. How's it going?
The honor is all ours to have anybody with you and Michael Foster. It's an honor for us to be associated, to have you on the program. I know you guys are like everybody in organizations like yours who had to sit out the COVID year. You're anxious to get back together with people, put on your events, and enshrine some footballers.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. We've got a great class, as you well know, and Mikey football is the best, and we appreciate him, and we appreciate you. And you typically, you and all these great listeners out here are with us at least there on your show, and we appreciate giving that exposure through the years. And so you know how excited we are to get this class enshrined and what we've got going on next month.
Yeah, and we wanted to have you on to talk about what's coming up. What do you have on the schedule now that things are such that we can get back to having events?
Absolutely. July 21st is our Bridge Builder Excellence Award. Right now, we've got the top 10 young men that played high school football in South Carolina last year, and there's 10 excellent young men that are getting it done in the classroom, on the field, and in the community. And we're recognizing that excellence, Bridge Builder Excellence Award. There was over 50 of these young men nominated this year. Mm-hmm. We're talking about that sort of the high school Heisman, if you will, that we've established. This is our only the second year of this award. And that top 10 has gotten a lot of attention. And so we're going to announce the winner and award the winner that night in Greenville at Zen, July the 21st, and it's going to be combined with the VIP sort of meet and greet in celebration of the following night. We'll have the enshrinement. So that 21st at Zen event is going to be really nice, and there's going to be a lot of special people there. Obviously, folks you would expect, Hall of Famers, business leaders, education leaders, folks that are trying to help us with our mission to help lead South Carolina, from 43rd in college and career readiness, where our kids are getting left behind, and some of our communities are struggling. So our vision is to help lead South Carolina to the top 10 in college and career readiness. That's students, and that's all students, by December 31st, 2030. No, it's a big undertaking, but we believe that we can achieve that with folks like yourself and your listeners. It's already got a lot of steam and momentum picking up, so we appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys about it. That's our SC Top 10 in 2030 campaign. We're celebrating excellence. And John Maxwell says, if you want to see something more in the world, you should recognize and honor it. And that's exactly the thought behind this Bridge Builder Excellence Award. As I said, the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame going to award it to one young man, and these are some great men. So that's July 21st.
And then the next night, you induct your next class or classes. Are you making up for the one that you had to miss last year?
Not making up for it this year. This is a big class, as I know you'll agree. We've got Robert Porcher, Willie Scott, who obviously we're just heartbroken by the loss of Coach Willie Scott, and we've actually got some interviews with him that we've yet to release, and really had an opportunity to capture some of his thoughts about success and leadership, and what a great role model he was for so many. And so looking forward to celebrating the great Willie Scott, and then another great Coach Art Baker, just a legend in the game. One that your listeners will obviously know, Coach Steve Spurrier, coming to town, and I believe Connor Shaw is going to show up and help induct him for us. And then Clemson great and Dallas Cowboy legend Charlie Waters. That's going to be the class where we also, in honor of someone that really makes an impact on the community through football, we honor someone every year, the Humanitarian of the Year. This year, we're honoring someone who you guys all know and are no stranger to, and someone who just really did so much for us. That's the great late Sam White.
Mm-hmm.
So excited to represent him. And then what we haven't announced yet is this year's Blanchard Rogers Award. So certainly last year, Trevor Lawrence won it. We do have a new award this year, and that'll be announced later. And it's going to be an exciting evening.
It sounds like it. Are tickets still available? Do you want to put the number out there for folks to get those tickets if they're still available?
There are some tickets available. You can get those at scfootballhof.org, scfootballhof.org, and tickets for both events on the website. And but they are limited, so act fast.
Act fast. That's coming up in July. So good to hear from you, and good to know that we're getting back to having these kind of events, and looking forward to being around and talking about it and seeing these folks. And we thank you for joining us tonight. We're here for you anytime you want to jump on board.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Keep up the good work. Y'all have a good night.
You too, sir. Thank you very much. All right, David Wyatt from up in Greenville with the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. Appreciate him being on with us tonight. Pat, you need to tell me, I've lost track. Do we need to take a break here? Did we do our break in the last half hour?
We did
If
not.
I'll move on.
We were having such a great conversation in that first half hour. I didn't want to force the issue. So whenever you're ready, we will take that break.
Yeah, I got lost in my I don't want to. What's a good word? I don't want to say my argument or my point of view there, but I just got lost in my opinion, I guess I could say. Let's see. Pat points out, going back to Keith's phone call, USC has not finished in the top 100 of the Capital One Cup since 2016-17. Oh, for men has not finished in the top 100. Of course, that's a bit skewed because you got a lot of teams with sports that South Carolina doesn't compete in that picks up points in the standings, or they could, or they compete like swimming and diving. I mean, Carolina competes in that, but they haven't been national powers. But I don't know, maybe like men's lacrosse. I'm thinking of the men's sports, water polo. On the West Coast, Stanford, Southern Cal, UCLA, those teams out there, Oregon, they pick up points for things like water polo and stuff like that. But I get your point. Yeah, they need to do better. I mean, South Carolina men's athletic program, they need to pick it up. Now, football needs to get better. Feel like it will. Men's basketball is, who knows? Who knows? I mean, brand new team. Can Frank Martin mold it together in 1 year? They need to be better. They had that magical run. They've really done nothing since. They need to get better. Baseball's good. There's nothing wrong with baseball. They were right there. I mean, 2 one-run losses to the team that is going to Omaha. They were right there. So I wouldn't fret over baseball. Men's golf is great. Nothing wrong with men's golf.
Women's golf is great.
Well, we're talking men's sports. Well, I know the women's golf, they were number one. We're talking
But I
men's
haven't
golf.
said anything in a while.
But you had to say something. Men's track is okay. The women's track, they had a national champion at the outdoors last week. Men's track they had an excellent shot putter, but he got hurt in warm-ups before his shot put at the outdoor championship last week. So anyway, men's soccer's got to get better. New coach. So, new start there. They got to get better. So, yeah, I get your point. All right, we got to hit a break, and we will come back with recruiting. Gosh, we carried recruiting along with us here for almost 2 hours. That's what happened when George is on the program.
I'm a distraction.
He dominates. He dominates the airwaves. And, sorry, Chris, Chris can't get a word in edgewise.
It's fine.
So I'm sorry about
being
that.
A listener tonight for sure. It's been fun.
Well, we'll do recruiting, and then we'll get into, we'll go back. I want to get y'all's thoughts on if I'm way off course on what I'm saying. And just don't say it because I'm sitting here if you agree with me or not.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit MainCourseSC.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit PlayResponsiblySC.com.
No air balls, no bricks, nothing but net with Founders Federal Credit Union. Our full-service line of financial products gives you all the tools you need for financial success. And you'll love being with us as much as we love serving you. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or one of our more than 30 locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA. You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues, some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Enjoy life to the fullest with tasty peanuts that pack a lot of flavor. When it comes to eating peanuts, the research is clear. Peanuts improve your health. Peanuts, a snack that gives back. Crack some open today for a nutritious, sustainable, and earth-friendly treat. Be sure to stop by your local grocery store produce section to pick up a bag of roasted in-shell peanuts. Brought to you by the South Carolina Peanut Board. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
Hey, folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history. And with home values up in many areas, Now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
It is time for the recruiting report tonight here on Sports Talk. It is brought to you by Seawells. Seawells Food Caterers in Columbia, been serving the Columbia area with excellent food and service for over 70 years. They can handle all your planning and your catering needs at their facility, 1125 Rosewood Drive. Well, they'll come to your venue. You give them a call at 803-771-7385, and you let them take care of all that hard work. Also, don't forget the daily luncheon buffet. Going to hit that up tomorrow. Supposed to hit it up today. My lunch guest backed out on me last moment, but we rescheduled for tomorrow. So we'll hit up Seawells tomorrow between 11 and 2. Delicious lunch buffet. I need to take you out there one day, George.
You buying?
Absolutely. It's not expensive.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. You can get a meat and three.
Well, that seems like you're trying to back up a little bit on you buying.
No, I'd be happy to take you out there. But you have a meat and three or 2 meats and 4, or you can have all veggies. You know, dessert, banana pudding is really good. They bring you a pitcher of iced tea on your table. It's all good.
Oh, good.
That's at Seawells, 11 to 2 for the daily luncheon buffet. So in recruiting, Clemson did get the commitment today. Sherrod Koval, 6 feet, 185. Chesapeake, Virginia. Chose the Tigers over Southern Cal, Virginia, Penn State, Notre Dame, Oregon, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Auburn, Maryland, and Michigan. Ranked the number 11 safety nationally in the 247 Sports Composite. He was at the Clemson Elite Retreat this past weekend. And after that, he pretty much knew what he wanted to do, and obviously he committed a few days later. And he loved everything about the visit. He loved the atmosphere, loved the culture. He knows players on the team from up Virginia way, so that made it easier for him. And he says it's been his dream to go there since he was in the 8th grade. So he's getting that opportunity, and they expect big things from him. He is commitment number 6. Number 7 could come tomorrow in Toriano Pride, cornerback from St. Louis, supposed to announce tomorrow. Haven't seen a time on it, but he's supposed to announce tomorrow. USC quarterback commitment, 4-star Braden Davis, Middletown, Delaware, was in Columbia. He's in Columbia now. He's been committed since April 30th. He came in yesterday and met the coaches for the first time, Marcus Satterfield, and they got together for the first time. Today he was over at the camp, met Shane Beamer in person for the first time. So that's the strangeness of recruiting, considering we went through the COVID era when you couldn't visit. And he's just sort of getting his feet wet now with the program, meeting the coaches, checking out facilities, the campus, and all that kind of stuff. He has been here before. He drove around Columbia with his mom back in March, but he couldn't go inside the facilities. So it's all good with him. He's locked solid with the Gamecocks, no question there, and he's looking forward to being in after one more season of high school football. And he's helping the Gamecocks recruit, including his teammate, defensive end Tomiwa Durajai, and the two of them will be coming in for their official visit next weekend. Some other notes. Emerald defensive tackle Robbie Harrison offered today by Georgia after camp. 2024 offensive tackle Cam Pringle of Woodland was at Georgia today. Cornerback Jaden Gould of Oradell, New Jersey, who had a Clemson offer, is going to announce Sunday between Penn State and Southern Cal. Malden cornerback Jaden Lucas at the Rivals camp in Atlanta. He told them he's deciding between Clemson, North Carolina, and Ohio State. He visited Clemson and North Carolina last week and is talking to the Buckeyes about a visit, his decision to come later this summer. At the same Rivals camp, Hilton head linebacker Jalen Sneed said he's down to Oregon and Notre Dame. He took official visits to each over the last 2 weeks. You know, he is a good-looking player just to see him, and not in person, but see his pictures and see him on video. He never had any traction really with South Carolina or Clemson. Can you explain that, George?
I can't.
I really can't explain that either. USC offered wide receiver Landon Sampson, 6'1", 185 of South Lake, Texas. He's a three-star, ranked number 100 receiver nationally, 24/7 Sports Composite. 74 catches, 1,281 yards, and 15 touchdowns last season. Spring Valley quarterback DQ Smith was at USC Tuesday. He's also been at Georgia Southern, going to Virginia Tech next week. The Gamecocks continue to recruit him as a safety, but he wants to play quarterback in college right now. Of course, they're telling him, look, man, you want to play in the NFL, it's not going to be a quarterback. If you're going to make the league, it's going to be as a defensive back. Think about that. And so that could play a role for him. Cornerback Traquan Fagans, Oxford, Alabama, his official visit, he said, to USC is now June 25th. He's camped in Alabama, and he also visited Miami officially and UCF and Florida unofficially. As of right now, the Gamecocks do not have any official visits scheduled for this weekend. Okay? 2023 wide receiver C.J. Young of Clinton was at USC on Sunday. Cornerback Quan Peterson of South Point plans to announce his commitment July 4th. He has officials coming up with Syracuse and Marshall the next 2 weekends. He went to USC for a workout for them, but he hasn't heard much from them since. Charlotte, Tulane, Florida State, and Coastal Carolina he's also camped at. Basketball, 6'4" point guard London Johnson, Norcross, Georgia, 2023 was offered by Clemson. Clemson also offered 2023 6'4" Marvell Allen, West Palm Beach, Florida. Or maybe it's Marvel. Probably Marvell. And 2023 6'8" TJ Power of Worcester, Massachusetts was offered by USC. I remember back in the day, George, you used to love to break golf recruiting news.
And I still do.
On your segment.
When I haven't.
Sally Smith has committed to the USC women's golf team. You used to do that all the time.
And you've inspired me to brush up
Yes.
and be better prepared next week.
Well, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Well, no, that's not enough time for me to prepare.
All right, there you go with recruiting tonight, brought to you by Seawells. Let's go to Jack in Rock Hill. We got time for more calls. A couple more minutes left in the program. Jack, good to have you with us. How are you, sir?
Hey, Phil. Thank you. I listened to your viewpoint, and if you'll let me express my viewpoint about Clemson, I would really appreciate it.
Sure.
First of all, Clemson just got through settling a Title IX lawsuit, and they just got through settling a lawsuit with a baseball player. In the immediate release that was released by the law firm that settled the Title IX, they gave a scathing report on the Board of Trustees of Clemson University. So, and, you know, Clemson University also has a history of problems just like any other university. You know, they fired coaches from Red Parker, Tommy West, Tommy Bowden. It goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they was gonna, if they hadn't fired Danny Ford in the 90s, they was gonna give Clemson the death penalty. So my whole point is every university has issues, and I get tired of listening to you suck up to Clemson every night on this show. You suck up to them, Clemson this and Clemson that. So, you know, they have their problems just like everybody else. So I want to express my viewpoint and thank you, and you have a great evening. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, they're not without their warts, and they've had a couple of things happen here with the Title IX stuff, and when they dropped men's track, you know, they caught a lot of heat for that, and they reestablished that program. Absolutely. They had to deal with a former baseball player's lawsuit over how medical treatment that he had. You're exactly right. They're not without fault either. However, I would just say in the here and now, by and large, things are pretty calm and quiet up there where it matters most, and that's with football. And, I mean, you know, they got a football coach going to be there as long as he wants to be there, and he's going to win a lot more. And South Carolina's trying to get to the same point with Shane Beamer. Maybe they've hit on that man with Shane Beamer. I kind of think they have, but again, the proof is in the pudding. Got to win football games. All the other stuff, the videos and the welcome home and the lovey-dovey, that's wonderful. That's how you build the culture, and that's how you, have that warm family feeling. It still has got to be played out on the field with some W's and fewer L's and winning championships and going to big bowl games. That's why, Clemson right now has such a love affair with its people, because they're winning big in football. And then men's basketball had a NCAA tournament year this year. So we'll pick back up on this tomorrow night. George is sitting there speechless, and Chris can't get a word in edgewise. We thank you for being with us. We'll pick it up tomorrow night. Round 2 of the Open right here at the Players Club. See you then.
Local talk radio in Columbia is the Afternoon Drive with Kev. It's all about you. It's your phone calls. It's my challenging topics. All the news, traffic, and weather weekdays, 4 p.m. on The Point.
Press that button, home stew.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. A Georgia police officer near Atlanta has been shot and killed today during a traffic stop. Authorities say a suspect was also killed. Tropical storm warning issued for parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama as a potential tropical cyclone has advanced toward the northern Gulf Coast. Forecasters at the National Hurricane Center say heavy rain and flooding likely to be the most significant hazard. Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards.
Because we have rivers that are already high and drainage ditches and that are already full and streams and so forth, a smaller rain than we may have experienced last month could be just as catastrophic.
On the western side of the nation, the problem is heat, lots of it, with several states continuing to see daily readings 110 to 122 degrees. Also at townhall.com, Senator Bernie Sanders says that he will introduce a budget